Hey everybody, it's Stephen here and welcome back to my channel. So today's tag, I'm bringing you the 3 bookish things tag. I got this one while searching Google, so I don't have anybody to tag in for this one, I'm afraid. But without further ado, let's get into those questions. So question 1, 3 authors you loved after reading a book once. So for me, the first one that comes to mind would be Mikizuka Reichardt and The Last of the Renshai. It's a book I picked up as a teen and I loved it and went out and bought her entire Renshai series and some of her follow-on books. Now, the next 2 authors, I'm just going to give their first names because I do not want to butcher their last names. But I'll put their details below so you can actually take a look at them in more detail. So the first one is Hero. He did the Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody series, which you can actually see behind me, and it's one that I absolutely adore, and it's one that I actually reread a number of times. Same as the Last of the Renshai series, to be fair. And the third one is Mia. Again, I don't want to give their last name out because I'm afraid of butchering it because my pronunciation isn't that good, I'm afraid. So here is the info for people who want to know more about that author. And they wrote The Ascendance of a Bookworm series, which I'm sure if you're a regular to my channel, you've heard me talk about before. Again, you can probably see the series behind me on this side here. So yeah, that is another series I love. I haven't actually reread that series yet, but it is one I'm planning on rereading soon because I'd love to do a complete review on the entire series. And I'm looking forward to doing a review based on the light novels, the manga and the anime adaptation, and doing a sort of review on how they all interact with each other. Okay, on to question 2. 3 titles you've watched live but haven't read. So the first one that comes to mind for me, and it's one that's mentioned a lot on Booktube, and I know it's one that got a lot of people into reading, and that's the Harry Potter series. Surprisingly, I haven't read it, but I have watched the movies. Now, I've had a chance to read the books, I've just never got round to it. I think it's because I've enjoyed the movies so much that I don't want to risk spoiling that enjoyment by taking away what will obviously be a very memorable moment for me when I watch them for the first time by thinking, but then nothing like the books, which is what tends to happen. It's why I normally like to read things first, because then I tend to enjoy the movies afterwards, while if I watch something first, I don't always enjoy the books afterwards. Next, I'd have to say the Terry Pratchett TV series. So they did a couple. There was The Hogfather, Going Postal, I think it was called, and The Colour of Magic. So I loved all of those TV shows, but I've never actually picked up the Terry Pratchett books. And I do actually think I'm missing out there because they're meant to be fantastic reads and they are down my alley. But for whatever reason, I've just never got round to actually picking them up and giving them a go. So hopefully that might be something I pick up in the future. Probably not this year, maybe next year, who knows. And last but not least, I would say the Game of Thrones series. I've actually owned the books and I've got them downstairs. I've just never actually got round to reading them. And I think what's putting me off the most about that one is the ending to the TV series. I really didn't like the ending to it, and it sort of spoiled it a little bit because it seemed rushed and just out of pace. So I'm looking forward to when he actually finally finishes the books. But I don't want to read them until I know that ending is there, otherwise I'm just going to feel disappointed. I want to know that I'm going to be picking up a series that I'm going to enjoy the ending of, so I'd like to actually see him print the final books, see the reviews and see if it actually gets a better rating than what the TV series did, because I don't want to read through all of them and then get disappointed in the very last book like I got disappointed in the very last series of that show. Okay, question 3. 3 characters you love. So for me, I'd go with Ainz Ulgon from the Overlord series. I think he is a fantastic character. He's actually more a villain protagonist, and he does it really well. And he also plays a sort of a bumbling along kind of falling into the right kind of place kind of protagonist. You know, he is smart, he knows what he's doing, but he's not as smart as the people around him, while they seem to think he's a genius, and he sort of falls into all these successes. And I think the book itself is fantastically written on top. So the second one would be mine, from the Ascendance of a Bookworm series. I think her character is great. She is a bookworm through and through, and you see her journey from a feebled, very ill character, where she then works her hardest to actually overcome her illness and to achieve her goals. And I feel a kind of passion in what she's actually doing and the determination, and I think it leads to a very endearing and very fantastic character, and the way she's written is just absolutely great. Last but not least, I'd probably say Haru from the Grimgar of Fancy and Ash series. The reason I fell in love with him is because I actually see a lot of myself in him. He's not exactly a lovable character, to be fair. He's actually a character who has a lot of flaws, and he's very self-critical of himself, and he's always seeing the positive side in other people but not himself. And to be fair, that has been me for the majority of my life. So I sort of see myself in him, and it's what made me so endeared to him as a character, and really love seeing how he's grown throughout the series. Okay, question 5, 3 unpopular bookish opinions. Now, for me, this is a tough one. I don't really have what I'd call unpopular bookish opinions. I think it's down to the books I read, which are light novels and manga. So maybe the unpopular opinion could be that I think that light novels and manga should be mainstream in other countries other than Japan, and not seen as more childish kind of literature, which is, I know, what a lot of people think. So probably that is my most unpopular bookish opinion, maybe. Other than that, I can't really think of anything, because as I said, I don't technically read a lot of the same kind of books that a lot of other people do. I like my different kinds of books, and I suppose that could be another unpopular opinion, that you don't need to read the classics, or you don't need to read the most popular book of the month to be a booktuber, for example, or to be in with the crowd. I think you should read what you enjoy, and it shouldn't matter to other people. Okay, question 6. 3 current favourite book covers. For me, I'm probably going to go with series here rather than the actual books, because I can't decide between the covers of these particular series. So the first one is Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn from the UK edition. I think the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. Next would be the Overlord series. Again, I love the artwork of the entire series. And the last of those covers would have to be my new Final Fantasy mangas. The book covers, I think, are absolutely beautiful. Question 7. 3 bookish goals you've set for the year. So I've actually achieved 2 out of my 3 goals that I actually did set for myself this year. The first one was to get some proper storage set up for my books, as you can see behind me. Before now, they was actually all stored in boxes, because we moved into this house a few years ago. And then a couple of things happened, and we wasn't able to decorate all the rooms we wanted to and get the storage we needed. So my books were last on the priority of the important things of getting things ready for this house. So this year I put in the effort to actually go out and buy the bookshelves, and I can't be more happy with them. Although I am running out of space really quickly, especially with the rate I get through books and the amount of new ones I'm constantly buying. My second one was to actually start up a YouTube channel, and here I am, as you can see. So those are my 2 bookish goals that I've actually already achieved, and I couldn't be happier. The third one is something that's really simple, and that's to keep on reading and not let myself get into a slump where I put down a book and I don't pick up a book for 2, 3, 4 months at a time, which I have done. Because when you get into that kind of habit, it's then hard to sometimes pick a book back up again. I've done that before and I've ended up not reading for a couple of years, and I never want to get to that state again. Books are my escapism. They are what keep me grounded and what keep me happy. So I do not want to get into that kind of slump again. So that is my third bookish goal, and to be fair, that'll be my bookish goal every year. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Take care for now.